Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Live Sober here, coming from Camp Wilson. I'm just finished up about a hour of yoga and a little meditation here. Just kind of propped up my head like this, and I'm watching the sunrise come up over here. So got up early and got out. It was dark when I started the yoga, which was cool, and I've just been do a little yoga on my phone so I can have it with me wherever I go, which is nice. I pretty much have it memorized now, but I try to do it from memory. I tend to cheat myself a little bit. So I like have it on the phone. It kind of keeps me honest, and I really like yoga. It's one of those things that every time I do it, I'm like, oh, I should do this every day. Of course I don't. And then I'll go like months without doing it. And then I'll do it one time and get really into it. And what else is new? You guys probably know that's true about me. I'm either really into it or I'm not into it at all. But I got an hour of yoga in. I'm up here at Camp Wilson. It's a 500-acre camp. It's just beautiful. There's a lake, there's horses, there's high ropes course. So I came out here last week for men's camp, and I had such a good time. I thought about bringing the family up. So it's family camp this weekend, so there's families from all over Ohio, it seems, that are here right now, and each family gets its own cabin, which is cool, and it's nice. You get to share meals with people, which was fun, getting to meet other neat families, a lot of young families here too, which is fun to see the little kids running around. So got here yesterday and we did a bunch of stuff as a family, and my girls each brought a friend, so that was fun for them to have a friend, but they're kind of at the age where they want to hang out with friends more than they want to hang out with us, so it's cool, but it's also like I like their friends are cool, but they say it goes quick, and it definitely does. See, one day you're kind of like, man, they're always around, having to change them every time, or put their clothes on all the time, or tie their shoes, or and then one day it's like the last time you do it, and you don't even know it. So all the cliches are true about being a parent. I think it's the best thing that could ever happen to you. So anyways, we got the family here. They're all probably still asleep, I'd imagine, so they're still about an hour before breakfast. And the plan was to come out here and do an hour of meditation, watch the sunrise, and then do an hour of yoga and then an hour of meditation. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do a full hour this morning, but I'm planning to get an hour in today. This is a really good place to do it, and if you can't do it here, then when are you going to be able to do it? So, but if I kind of finished up the yoga and did, normally I kind of like lay down all the way. First of all, but you can see I got my yoga or my meditation stand here and just kind of propped up my head so I could watch the sunrise. It was really beautiful. It's kind of went behind the clouds now, but watching, really, I think the best way to start sunrise is before you even know it's coming up, because you get to see the full gradation, and it's cool when you're doing yoga and watching it, because a lot of times you're not, like, you're in downward dog or you're in child's pose, so you're not really, maybe even have your eyes closed. I close my eyes a lot in yoga, And then you'll come up into a standing pose or chair pose or something, and the whole sky has changed from the last time. So even if it's just been a few seconds or whatever, you just get to see a change in the sky and realize it's a reminder of how nothing stays the same, impertinence. Everything's always moving on and nothing remains the same. So figured I'd jump on here, make a little video for everybody who's not watching, which is cool. I guess I'm just doing it for myself, which is in some ways better. But if anyone's watching, if it helps in any way to know that if you relate to anything, that'd be awesome. If you relate to anything, let me know. It's cool to know that we're not alone in these journeys through life. But what else? So we went on got here yesterday, got to go out on the paddle board. I think I told you last week I did a little meditation on the lake. I just sat on the paddle board and just closed my eyes and kind of left them closed until I touched ground. That was the plan, but the paddle board went right back into where the dock area was. I was floating into the dock area, and I could tell I was getting close to people, and so I cheated a little bit there, but yeah, it was for safety or whatever. So I didn't look like too much of a weirdo just floating into the dock. Probably looked like a weirdo anyways, but that's okay. And then we had dinner. We got to sit with a neat family. Really neat family, actually. I look forward to sitting with them more and getting to know them. Then we went on the nature hike. Was led by a guy who works here at camp named Steve, and he showed us some really cool stuff. Eagle's nest, bald eagle's nest. Saw lots of spiders, and he knows the camp really well. Obviously I know it pretty well too, but it was fun. There were a lot of people who'd never been here on the hike, so it was really kind of fun to see them kind of go through the experience for the first time. And there's this high school student, and him and his dad were collecting flowers. So they collected all these wildflowers from the walk around the lake, and it was a beautiful bouquet. I mean, really gorgeous. Yellows and purples, and he had I helped him. I went in and got a cattail for him to add to it, so that looked pretty cool. And just all kinds of there were some oranges and some whites, and yeah, I mean, it was just a really neat bouquet that they made, and they were going to go press those flowers into a book, which is really cool. Something that don't really take the time to do stuff like that, so that was neat that they were doing that. And my girls had a good time on the hike. They were running ahead and behind and all around, and got to meet some of the other adults. And good hike, and came back just in time for a beautiful sunset. So I got to watch the sun was already kind of down. But like I said earlier, the sunset isn't just the time that the sun actually sets. Some of it, the most beautiful part is afterwards. And in Ohio, we have all this pollution, so the sunsets are crazy beautiful. It's not pollution, it's crap in the air, whatever. So watched the sunset for a little bit, and then we went up and made a little campfire, played some guitar. I learned there's a song out right now by Olivia Rodrigo called Vampire. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it for about 10 times. It's just a tremendous song. I know it is like a pop song, but she's just an incredible artist. My girls started watching her when she was on some Disney Channel show, and I actually kind of like that show a little bit. Some I liked more than others, so I kind of knew the characters and stuff like that. And then I heard that she was making music. Her last album, which was huge, You know, and I was like, wait, what? And it's gonna be like kind of. I thought it was gonna be super poppy, but she has some really interesting lyrics, some things that have really made me think. And the song "Vampire," you know, it's, you know, it could be about a relationship, you know, an intimate relationship, but it could also be about somebody exploiting you and kind of using you. And you know, I was, you know, it's written by a young lady, and it's definitely kind of like a breakup song for sure, you know. Talking about, sounds like a guy who kind of bled her dry, and, you know, all of these things. And, you know, it's like talking about relating. Like, I really like this song. I was like trying to figure out how I related to this song. And, you know, I was talking to a friend and was like, I made the comment that I wish that I was a girl so I could like feel that amount of pain. Like the pain that's in the song is like, you know, I think there's something different in a breakup for guys and girls. I don't know, maybe there's not, but just like that song and so many songs, there's just like a different vibe in a breakup between guys and girls. And for some reason, and this is gonna be horrible, but you know, that's why I'm here, is to emote and to think. But you know, I feel like I'm the vampire in the song. Like I relate to being that character in the song. And you know, it's not really a good feeling. But I think there's some truth there, and some hard truth. And you know, that I know that I've caused harm and pain in other people's lives, you know, especially in some of my earlier relationships, intimate relationships, and probably even other ones where, you know, I've been a vampire in the relationship and the one who took more than gave. I know I could probably be that way. And, you know, and I've definitely felt like that in other situations and at times. And, but, I guess, you know, in any relationship at any time, there is a bit of an imbalance, right? There's kind of somebody who's giving a little bit more and somebody who's taking a little bit more. And, you know, there's this idea of the relationship bank account where you put in and then you can take out of it later and things like that. Kind of a weird idea. Been listening to this book it's called Why Buddhism is True. And the guy's a big evolutionary psychologist, and he was talking about how, you know, back in the day, like caveman days and stuff, like, you really want to, you like be with the same people all the time, you know? So, like, I wonder what it'd be like to, like, break up with somebody. If you were a caveman and, like, had to live in the freaking cave with them, you know? I don't know. It's early. It's early. But yeah, I mean, I think being a vampire, I think it's something to watch out for. You know, I think there's some people who want a relationship with you that are probably doing things that they aren't as comfortable with doing to try to make that relationship happen. I know I do that. And then, like, I'll go down that road and then realize that, like, I was doing all these things and that person wasn't really interested in the relationship. And so that's kind of the vampirism, is, like, really the expectation, I guess, is different. So if the video cuts out, I probably ran out of space. My phone is getting full. I need to delete some stuff, but is that a justification I just did for being a vampire? That it's not me, it's them? Probably. But I think there's some truth to that, where if you're not into somebody and, they're kind of into you, and they're always kind of like sending you notes or making you stuff or whatever, and you're just, maybe, you could definitely be like, it's hard to say no to that. And so are you leading them on? How much do you take that stuff? At what point do you say no? Or what to be very careful of, are you taking advantage of that, right? Somebody who's wanting that relationship, and in them wanting that relationship, you're taking things from them that you have no intent in reciprocating in any way. So I think that's probably the worst case scenario, right? Well, maybe not the worst case. There's probably even worse cases, but as relates to this kind of situation. So anyways, I learned this song on the guitar last night, which is kind of cool. So I'm not very good at guitar. I've been playing since I was 16. And like many things in life, I pick it up. I remember how much I like doing it. I play it for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, and then it sits on a shelf for a few months. And so I haven't gotten much better over the last few decades, although I did get a little guitar app on my phone and did that over COVID, which was really cool. I actually got a lot better. Learned how to do some bar chords, which I could never really figure out before. So if you're struggling with guitar, highly recommend grabbing one of those mobile apps. It's like Guitar Hero for your phone. But I got to learn how to play that song last night around the campfire. Played a few other ones for the girls and ate some ice cream. And slept in the cabin. So I'm totally outnumbered. There's 5 girls to me. Oh boy. I like it. I like hanging out with the girls. They're fun. So we got today. Should be a good day. Oh, look, there's some deer out there. I don't know if you can see them, but they're just going across the field. Can you guys see them? They're in the second field out there. That's what happens if you just come and kind of sit out here. So yeah, I got up this morning, did my yoga. It was a good yoga session. I do this thing. It's called Pocket Yoga. It's a mobile app. You can download it. I think it's like $3 or $4. And you always have yoga with you then. And it's cool because you really have just like 3 different classes on there. There's more stuff you can do, I think, but there's kind of like a power yoga where you're holding poses for longer and some harder poses. There's the opposite is kind of the one I did today, which is a little bit more stretchy. They call it, so that one's called mountain. The one I did today is like desert. And so kind of get to do some standing poses, tree. You get to do sun salutation B or 2, which is kind of a lovely one. There's a good chair section, so it's a good session. And then the one that I normally do is the ocean one. It kind of mixes the 2 of them, so you definitely get a good sweat on. It's kind of almost more of like a HIIT style. You kind of go hard for a little bit, and then I know yoga, but I mean, if you've done yoga, it can be way harder than lifting or any other class, honestly. Back when I did P90X, that's kind of when I think Tony Horton got me into yoga. Now that I think about it, I did a little yoga before, but that P90X really transformed a lot of people, and I probably owe that guy a bigger debt than I realized, because he put yoga and the Kempo in there, and I still love to do those things. Lifting heavy, I still love to lift heavy. I mean, it's like, check out the P90X. There's a little plug for you, Tony. He's still doing amazing things. Still has great energy. But anyways, it can definitely be a good workout. So today was kind of the lighter version. I did legs yesterday, so I was kind of knew I was going to be needing a little extra recovery today, and planning to do a bunch of stuff today, so I didn't want to kind of burn myself out first thing. But and then so we got the meditation coming up here in a little bit. Every second I'm with you is a little bit longer on the meditation, but this is feeling good right now, just getting some thoughts and feelings out. And then we're gonna go do some tie-dye, gonna go to the there's a animal petting farm here, so we're gonna go do that this morning. I think that'll take a good part of the morning. And then lunch, and then my plan is to be at the lake and take a nap this afternoon. I don't know what everyone else's plan is, but that's what I'm gonna do. Get on that paddleboard and I'm just like so at home on that paddleboard right now. Like, I was on there for like 2 hours yesterday, just paddling around, have my blocks, talking to people, going up and down and all around, doing headstands, doing yoga poses, doing meditation. So I love being on that paddleboard. I don't know, there's something very, very, when you have that paddle in and you're just like pulling through the water, there's just a feeling to that that's really awesome. It definitely feels like you're connected to the earth, like it really makes me think of kind of the Mohicans, the native people, the indigenous people, not just in the United States, but all around the world, who, use their bodies to transport themselves, and found, water was the way to move around, back in the day when the roads were either non-existent, or if there were, they were just big mud trenches. So, and sitting on the paddleboard, there's something about being up above the water, but like flat on it. I highly recommend it. Standing on the water is cool. Don't get me wrong. Being in a kayak is cool. I love the kayak too. But I think I like paddleboard the most, because you can sit, you can stand, you can do yoga on it, you can lay down, in a kayak you're kind of just sitting, I mean, I guess the kayak's better if you're going to go down like a big river or something, but if you're just kind of on pretty chill water, but you can take it out in the ocean, I don't know, it's just great. So anyways, that's my plan. Now, the girls may have a different plan. We'll see. I think they were talking about maybe doing their high ropes course. So if they want to do the high ropes course, I'm obviously going to be there. Got to be there for the girls, for sure. No doubt. But I am hoping to get a little nap in, especially since I got up early, and read a little bit of my book, talk to you about that book some more. He's getting into, right now, no self, which is one of the hardest concepts I think there is, but is probably the most important concept of, finding, that humbleness, that, maybe peace, maybe peace around the world is possible if we can disconnect from the me, myself, I, and all of that stuff. And I must say, I've had little glimpses of it when I'm in my good meditation stages. I find little glimpses of this, but maybe a topic for another time. So I don't know what the topic today was. I guess being a vampire. Now I'm starting to think, what relationships am I a vampire in right now? And what are the ones where, I'm maybe the person who's being vamped on? Definitely, those ones seem a little bit easier to figure out. I can think of a couple right now where maybe that's the case. Where I'm trying and not getting what I need. But I can also think of a few where it's probably going the other way. Probably a lot, actually. I think probably most people might think this way about their boss. Oh no. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't want to be a vampire. I mean, I really do try to feed my staff. I mean, not figuratively and literally. I really do value and love, and I've been in pretty much every one of those jobs and know how hard it is, and I really try to step up every day and think about how do I the leaders eat last, and leading by example. I don't mind picking up the trash and all that stuff, but I think at the end of the day, if you're the boss, which I am, which is, I don't like to say that and I don't like to think of it that way, but at the end of the day, I don't lead in a bossy way, I hope. I'm sure that others will disagree, but you might hear the train in the background. But I'm pushing people to do better than they did yesterday, and that's can be hard, and I ask a lot out of people, probably more than is justified, but I believe in what we're doing. I see it as not a 9-to-5er. The work that I do has the potential to change a life every single day, and the better we are, the better everybody is. Like our whole world. And I truly believe that. That's something that something that was just really important to me was that my working life was congruent with my values. And obviously a job's a job. There's times where there's decisions that are made that maybe I don't agree with, and blah, blah, blah. I have to dot the I's and cross the T's and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, my job is to have help create the largest amount of positive impact in the areas of influence that I have in a positive direction. Now, we have to stay sustainable and stuff like that. So, of course, that comes into play, and it's got to be safe. So, we get that, number one, But the first thing really is that mission of helping people with my work, and that gets me up in the morning, for sure. And it makes me want to win, because when we win, it helps people. I think there's a lot of, and I'm not trying to judge, but there's a lot of jobs out there where if you win, other people are losing, and sometimes in a bad way, whether it's their health, whether it's their own finances, or somebody, whether it's somebody across the world who's having to suffer. And I'm sure there's some of that with my job. I shouldn't say some. There's probably a lot of it. I mean, who made the T-shirt that I sell? Things like that. So, there's no immunity from these things, I don't think. But you gotta you have to be honest about that too. You can't just be like, oh, I work for a nonprofit, or oh, I'm, saving the tree. I mean, there's something, there's something, I don't know if the word is bad, but there's something, evil. I don't know. I mean, it's just, you can't control every factor. But, being the boss. So yeah, being the boss, being the vampire, I guess that's what we were talking about. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of vampirism in when you're a leader. But like I said, you balance that out. And I guess part of, there's two parts to it, I guess. There's, when I'm pushing somebody to get more done, or to get it done with, to grow it, or to quality it, or to, maybe do it a way that wasn't their first choice, or, be there at a time where they didn't want to be there or something. There's things like that. But for the most part, I'd say my goal is to help the person be better at their job so they enjoy it more. If you're good at your job, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be good at your job, especially when your job is making the world a better place. So if you're coming into work and you're organized and you're confident, and your team has respect for you, and you can be honest with them and open with them, and you can treat them with caring, and they do the same thing to you, and everybody's doing their responsibilities. I mean, it's fantastic to go to work. And so why not work a little bit harder to make those things happen? And, whenever, no great thing has been done by one person individually. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not thinking about that somebody did all by themselves, like Albert Einstein in a room, but even he built off of other people. I put it in the comments. Somebody did something amazing by themselves. I defy. I can't imagine that that's true. But if let's just say 99.9% of the time. Okay. So we got to work together, and we're all crazy. If everybody did this video like this, it would be the most insane thing. Like, to hear what's in people's heads. I imagine, I don't know. I assume that other people are crazy because I'm crazy, have my own thoughts and opinions, and, I see the world, the grass is green, and like green is a certain color to me. Maybe green is a different color to different people, I have no idea. Somebody sees, somebody, there's a crying baby, some people think you should pick it up. Some people think you shouldn't pick it up. Who's right? Who's right? There's no, so, if you're going to do amazing things, you need to be with other people, and you're going to have conflict. And so you got to work hard, and you have to be vulnerable, and you have to be open to those things. And, when you see conflict, you go, yay, like, we're being real, like, good. You're actually being honest with me and not just saying, oh, okay, I'll do whatever you want. I mean, I think that's that vampire thing, right? Like, everybody needs to kind of stand up for themselves, and everybody also needs to realize that for this to work, it's got to be a community. And, like, for some reason, the way humans work is we all kind of, there's a hierarchy, for better or worse, and it allows us to do all of the things that we've done. Without the hierarchy, there wouldn't be this building I'm in right now. There wouldn't be a camp right now. There wouldn't be, we'd probably be, I mean, even chimpanzees have a hierarchy, even ants and stuff. I mean, it's like ingrained in us, like beyond being ingrained. So, there's going to be a hierarchy. So if there's going to be a hierarchy, is there going to be a hierarchy? I'm trying to think. I lived in a community where we tried to get rid of hierarchy, but there was still a hierarchy. So I think yes. Again, in the comments, If you know of a place that doesn't have a hierarchy, let me know. But if there's gonna be a hierarchy, then how do you make it the best it can be? And does somebody always need to suffer? I mean, everybody has to suffer something, but can the lowest person on the totem pole be the person who suffers the least? You know? That the person on the top is thinking about the person on the bottom more than they're thinking about themselves. And I think that's when you have these great rulers, you know, or these great hierarchies where, you know, and maybe it's not thinking about them as, well, I don't know about that. Because, you know, you might be thinking about them as a tool to an end, you know, like a Steve Jobs, like, you know, or maybe even an Elon Musk, you know, the employees are or a Bezos, you know, the employees are some of them are the fodder for greatness, you know, think of a Egyptian pharaoh, you know. And it's hard to argue that the people I just mentioned aren't creating, you know, moving us forward. But at what cost, you know? And then you have the revolution, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, well, enough of that. You know, let's have communism, right? So you get the czar, you get the, you know, and then it goes the other way. And then what happens again? There's a hierarchy, you know? So I just don't, there's going to be a hierarchy. And then you try to make it even for everybody. When you make it even for everybody, people suffer in a different way. Because now there's no impetus to to exploit people for your gain. So, I don't know. It's a little bit too much to think about on a Sunday morning, but I think this plays into the whole vampire thing. I think it does, because on an individual level, I think it plays out. And then you've got that relationship level. And I've said this, I realized this. This was a realization I had back when I was a summer camp counselor when I was 16. And I worked at this camp, and it was this awesome camp, and we wanted to create peace on earth. And I realized that we did not have peace in the summer camp cabin. And if we can't have peace in the summer camp cabin, then how are we going to have peace on earth? It's true, though. I mean, you know, things like the microcosm of the summer camp cabin is all you need to know about life, because it's the same microcosm as the family unit. It's the same microcosm as the country unit. I mean, it's just like you get 8 kids together, you tell them to live together, and there's going to be conflict. I mean, there's just no two ways about it, you know? And if there's not, there's a problem, you know? And you can say, oh, well, if that kid does something to you, go tell the counselor. That's BS. Sorry. I mean, if you don't stand up for yourself, then what's going to happen? Somebody's going to see that worked against you, and they're going to do it to you too. So, I mean, even if you lose in standing up for yourself, you still have to stand up for yourself and show that there's a consequence, you know? To going after you. And then and this is that whole myself, right? Because now it's all about the ego, you know? Somebody says something about you, you've got to stand up for yourself, otherwise somebody else will do it, right? Well, then that, you know, and then, oh, well, now you're retaliating, and then they're retaliating, and then, you know, and then you got World War III. And that's like literally, I mean, I know it's like little to big, but I mean, it's so true. That is what it is. And, you know, there's this idea out there that, and like, we've got to figure it out. I mean, there's just so many people. We can't just keep doing this, and, you know, like, how are we going to make this work? You know, so, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little too deep here after my meditation, after my yoga. But, we can maybe dive into that one another time. But the vampire, so I said, I wish I could be a girl so I could feel that much pain. I don't know. I think there are some differences. But go listen to that song. It's an amazing song. Maybe I'll, if I get it down, maybe I'll record it up here. I'm not very good. Okay, so don't get your hopes up here. And when I try to sing and play, it's really hard. And she sings really fast, which makes it really hard, extra hard. But it's a good one. It's definitely a good song for you today. Think about, who's the vampire in your life? Who's sucking out of you? I've got a couple people I'm thinking about. And what can you do in that relationship to kind of switch that around? Do you need to back off? Like, how much of it do you own? I mean, you know me, I love the ownership stuff. Do you own, and like, how much did she own in it? Oh, see, here I am justifying myself. It's okay. I mean, she can have those feelings. I mean, it doesn't make them wrong. But, who knows? The other person in the party might be feeling a totally different way. That, I'm sure they do. Whether it was a studio rap or a intimate relationship or something. And, who knows? That might not be personal to her at all. And that about her. It's art. The point is to make you think. It's definitely making me think. So who are the people, the vampires in your life? What role do you play? How are you letting them suck you dry? Are you setting boundaries? Are you, and when I say you, me, are you telling them what you need from the relationship so that they're aware that you are being sucked dry, so that it doesn't come up to like a big blowout thing, but you kind of let them know, hey, like, we need to kind of flip this thing around. And then maybe the harder one is to think about, who are you vampiring right now? So, okay, so what do we do in that situation? First, you own it, okay. I think recognizing it, if you can recognize that you're vampiring on somebody, that's probably one of the most amazing realizations, to like step out of yourself and be like, oh, wait a second. I'm the bad person in the song, I'm the person who is causing the pain. It's really hard to do that. We're all the heroes of our own story, especially me. As I'm recording myself and posting it onto YouTube for everybody to know how awesome I am, or whatever the heck this is supposed to be. But yeah, if you can realize that you're the vampire and then do something about it, I think that might be one way for us to get the peace, right? It's like, oh, hey, I've noticed that this relationship isn't quite even right now. First of all, I'm sorry about that. I just recognized it. I didn't recognize it before, but now that I recognize it, I like to do something too. I like to talk to you about it and see, where we're going, what we want this relationship to be, and, God, what if people just talk like that? Like, actually shared how they were feeling, instead of like going and talking behind each other's backs, or punching somebody, or whatever other ways, causing a mass genocide, all because, instead of, we could actually just go talk and say, hey, I don't think this is a very equal relationship right now. Can we talk about that? And either decide, hey, this is not, I've done that before. Hey, this isn't, we want different things in this relationship. And I'm not talking about just intimate relationships. I've done this with friends and stuff, even acquaintances, business people, all the time, people calling the Y, like wanting to use the Y for their personal gain. Every day. We're a nonprofit trying to help the world. Every day. Hey, can we use your good name and good reputation so that I can make money for me? And I guess people might think that way about the Y too. I just don't, I just see it differently. But I mean, that's the thing, I see it as being vampired on. They probably see it as this great thing that they're gonna do for the Y. They're gonna save the Y. It's like, and I shouldn't be talking about the Y, I guess. But if you're thinking about writing a nonprofit today to ask them to sponsor your thing, maybe think about that a little bit. Vampire. Yeah, so if you can realize when you're the vampire before it gets to the point where it gets too bad, before you have Olivia Rodrigo write a song about you. That would be good. That'd be good. Oh, well, this has been a good video, or whatever this has been. Definitely got some thoughts out. The sun is way up now. It's still behind those clouds. It's just been beautiful here. There's the barn over there. This place is amazing. It's like 500 acres of just like, I'm in this kind of crazy outdoor gymnasium thing. I'm just enjoying it. So thanks for being here with me. I guess I'm just talking to myself, but it's kind of helpful to do this. I think it's kind of like doing a little journal. Why I'm gonna go post it, I don't know, but that's something for my psychologist to figure out. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll try to get another one in here at some point. Have a great day. Bye.